Hello and welcome to Wrestling Trope Alert, the channel where we analyze professional wrestling. If this is your first time here, help the channel by clicking the subscribe button, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Today we are going to talk about the wonderful way AEW teased the arrival of CM Punk, with the many clues, references, Easter eggs, and some red herrings in the days and months leading to CM Punk's eventual return to the professional wrestling scene. The story of CM Punk's debut for AEW begins with the birth of All Elite Wrestling itself, a company born out of Tony Khan's desire to make compelling professional wrestling, and to give the fans a wrestling product alternative to everything that was already in place at the time. Tony Khan took advantage of the unique situation unfolding in the independent scene, and the collection of actual wrestling draws like the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and Cody Rhodes, and the popularity of their group in New Japan Pro Wrestling, the Bullet Club. These four individuals gambled on themselves and created a revolutionary pay-per-view event, All In, and Tony Khan capitalized on the success of the All In pay-per-view, and a new wrestling organization was born in the form of AEW, All Elite Wrestling.
Thank you guys, all of you, 10,000 asses and 10,000 No man,
This is a different group of guys and gals.
no company,
They're not as ambitious.
no entity
Just don't think they necessarily want to reach for that brass ring.
owns pro wrestling.
It's millennials.
We own pro wrestling. No man, no company, no entity owns pro wrestling.
It's millennials.
Owns pro wrestling.
Tony Khan, the owner of AEW, always wanted to have CM Punk in AEW, but for almost 2 years, CM Punk was the elusive talent that would always be inconspicuous by his absence. And since AEW's inception, CM Punk's arrival to AEW has been foretold, to the point that CM Punk to AEW Confirmed even became a meme.
CM Punk return confirmed! CM Punk return confirmed! CM Punk to AEW confirmed! CM Punk return confirmed! Yeah!
The fans clearly wanted Punk back, and after Punk left the WWE, every single time something stupid would air on the WWE's airwaves, the fans would chant his name.
For a lack of
Well, you people certainly are predictable.
And by 2019, Punk's wrestling bug started to bite once again, along with the birth of this new alternative, AEW. In April of 2019, Punk appeared under a mask on an independent event, MKE Wrestling, to give his finishing move, the GTS, to his friend Ace Steel opponent, and help Steel win the match. Punk would then get even closer to wrestling by appearing on WWE Backstage, a wrestling after show for the WWE airing on FS1, detailing the events of WWE storylines, with Punk commentating on the happenings of the WWE, carefully treading the waters, attempting not to be crass towards the WWE.
You're a bad guy and you do bad things to people.
You're a bad
I watched
guy.
you covered Roman in dog food.
1,000% real dog food. He's the big dog. I thought he was hungry.
the big dog.
Real mature.
And after the pandemic starts to fade away, Tony Khan and CM Punk behind the scenes start their discussions about Punk joining AEW. And by April of 2021, Punk was again closer to wrestling, and Punk was scheduled to appear in a new show revolving around wrestling named Heels, starring Stephen Amell. Punk would star in Heels as the trope wrestler Rick Ravis, a step even closer than his stint with the recap show WWE Backstage a year before with Renee Young. It was also in April that Punk gave an interview to Sports Illustrated where Punk said, "I don't need the money, and the way the wrestling business is now, it's wacky. You've got WWE who has multiple billion-dollar television deals and the television is awful. I go back there, it'd just be another guy that's doing not so good television vision. I want my name attached to quality projects, where it's fun and makes people laugh, smile, think, and people don't hate watching it. I want to do more fun stuff. CM Punk clearly talks about not wanting to join the WWE, but as we know, this could have well been a red herring. And in the world of professional wrestling, you never say never. 2 months later, in June, Punk was asked on Twitter why people still watch the WWE, and Punk would say the following: "It's like a movie with a blockbuster budget and cast, but it's written by creatively bankrupt nincompoops specifically for an audience of one, in a language nobody understands anymore. It's trash, but people watch it because they like movies." And this wasn't the only negative thing Punk had to say about the WWE. When Punk was asked about Chris Jericho's appearance on Steve Austin's Broken Skull Sessions, Punk said, "Nobody gets any royalties for anything shown on Peacock. Nobody. Yay, wrestling business." CM Punk voiced his concerns about Vince McMahon's management style regarding his wrestlers and the amounts paid to wrestlers being unfair. Voicing his displeasure with Vince McMahon and the WWE certainly gives the impression of CM Punk's unwillingness to join the WWE, but we were never 100% sure that that would happen. If you like what you see, make Stone Cold Steve Austin smile by pressing that like button. Thanks. So how do you pull off a surprise debut while making sure the people are watching to pull off huge ratings? And this was important because months before, at the time of Sting's debut for AEW, reportedly TNT was upset because AEW hit the debut and surprised the fans, at the expense of a ratings boost. So this time, things would have to be handled differently. What would happen next would be a masterclass in booking that will be talked about over the years to come as the way to make the rating spike and the way to make a debut feel surprising while fully delivering on the fans' anticipation. The very first reliable hint the internet wrestling community would get of Punk's imminent arrival was on July 21, 2021, courtesy of Fightful, an organization known for their reliable information and an organization that, to my knowledge, is always careful about what they choose to publish on their platform. After the Fightful article, the wheels were in motion and the buzz increased to unprecedented levels. The last time something huge like this happened was in 2016, back when AJ Styles, Gallows and Anderson along with Shinsuke Nakamura left New Japan Pro Wrestling for the WWE. But CM Punk to AEW felt even bigger, because this wasn't the normal progression of wrestlers joining the WWE. This would be Scott Hall and Kevin Nash joining the WCW of our generation. The teases and rumors continued for days after the Fightful article, with the news that CM Punk had begun following AEW and Living Color, the band that provided his trademark theme song in the WWE. And on the following AEW broadcast, Dynamite, on the July 28, 2021 episode, Nick Jackson hits a running knee in the corner followed by a bulldog, which was a signature move used by Punk in the majority of his matches. And moments later, Tony Schiavone announces that the new AEW show, Rampage, will be coming to Chicago on the August 20th at the United Center, an event dubbed The First Dance. Side note, this is a reference to the Last Dance documentary about the Chicago Bulls' last winning championship run and Michael Jordan's swan song with the Chicago Bulls. And in an interview for the New York Post, Tony is asked point blank what would mean for a company other than the WWE to add Daniel Bryan and CM Punk to their roster. I can't comment on these two guys, but I think there are certainly a lot of exciting rumors right now. Also, on the 28th of July episode of Dynamite, after Chris Jericho defeated Nick Gage, MJF grabbed the microphone and said,
As you sit there in more pain than you've ever been in your entire life.
This is a reference to CM Punk's words towards John Cena ahead of his famous pipe bomb.
John Cena, while you lay there, hopefully as uncomfortable as you possibly can be.
And most important of all, Darby Allin, flanked by Sting, gave an interview to Alex Marvez.
You know, I've been around a lot of men, laid claim to how they're the greatest. And there's only one place to really prove that, right here in AEW, even if you think you are the best in the world.
I'm the best. I'm the best in the world.
Foreshadowing the eventual match that both men would be scheduled to compete later on the September 5th All Out event. On August 1st, Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin and Ty Conti are in a Comic-Con convention and a little kid asks,
"What's the deal, CM Punk?"
Why? Is he going somewhere? You can't believe everything you read online, dude.
Yup.
Come on.
On the August 4th edition of Dynamite, the hidden clues would continue as Kenny Omega, the AEW champion, appears wearing a Cookie Monster shirt, both backstage and in the ring. This is also a reference to CM Punk, specifically the initial CM. In wrestling lore, Cookie Monster was one of the random answers Punk would have whenever asked about the true meaning behind the CM initials. Other answers would include Charles Manson, Chicago Made, and Chuck Mosley, the former frontman of the band Faith No More. The CM in CM Punk was ultimately revealed in the most unusual way by CM Punk in the most surreal way possible, under oath in the court of law. In the Chris Amon CM Punk trial, CM Punk, real name Phil Brooks, revealed that the CM in CM Punk stands for Chic Magnets, a name derived from Punk's early days in the tag team Chic Magnets with partner CM Venom. A week later, on the 11th of August episode of Dynamite, again the references would be plenty. Malachi Black in his cryptic promo on Cody Rhodes says,
"I want to make you feel so desolate and alone that the only things that you have left to talk to, now you've realized that you've been arguing with God."
You can't leave a mark on the champ's face. And I'm in the big leagues, and I'm swinging for the fence. When you step in the ring, your arms are just too short to box with God.
And moments later, in a segment between QT Marshall and Tony Schiavone, QT is scheduled to apologize for his behavior towards Tony Schiavone. But Swerve City, the tables are turned, and QT Marshall echoes much of the same words uttered by Punk at Vince McMahon years earlier.
Apologize! You will apologize to me for them!
2 days later, in an interview with TV Insider, CM Punk throws fuel in the fire, foreshadowing his AEW arrival by saying, "I do think the landscape of professional wrestling in general really needs a kick in the dick. I think we are about there. I think there are a lot of people out there stirring the pot and causing trouble in a good way. When it's done on a high level and it's really good, there is nothing better." Later that night, on the SmackDown broadcast, even John Cena, arguably CM Punk's greatest nemesis, would also drop some hints, live on the competition's airwaves. Ahead of Cena's match with the Universal Champion Roman Reigns, John Cena references his iconic match with CM Punk.
"And you're the biggest failure in WWE history. I'm just gonna hang in there. All I need is 1, 2, 3. And then I'm gonna take your title. I'm gonna jump the barricade. I may even blow you a kiss goodbye. I may even blow you a kiss goodbye."
And John Cena also posts a picture on his Instagram, again referencing the very same moment in their iconic match 10 years prior at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. It is unknown as to why Cena posted this picture or why did he reference CM Punk at all. I highly doubt that Cena is in cahoots with Tony Khan, but in wrestling everything is possible, and CM Punk would answer Cena's post with a picture of the one who should not be spoken of, Voldemort. NFL Network's Adam Rank, while doing highlights of the August 14th Chicago-Miami preseason game, hyped the debut of the Bears' first-round quarterback, Justin Fields.
He's so elusive in the pocket, DC. That's one of the things we loved about him.
Yeah, I think that was the most anticipated debut in Chicago until Friday, when presumably CM Punk could show up on AEW.
On August 15th, on his Instagram, CM Punk nods Darby Allin with a post depicting one of the DVDs from Ring of Honor, and Darby Allin's same tattoo, followed by a cryptic post with the numbers 5/11/21 the day after, the meaning of which presumably means the most important years in Punk's career: 2005 working for Ring of Honor, 2011 for the WWE, both of these referred as the summer of Punk, and 2021 for his supposed arrival at All Elite Wrestling. Punk would even throw some hints at his day job as the commentator for CFFC.
returning to his wrestling. You know what I'm saying? Punk returning to his wrestling.
Yeah, he's looking all elite right now.
On the following Dynamite broadcast, August 18th, Omega appearing to attack Marco Stunt of the Jurassic Express in the middle of their match with the Young Bucks is wearing a black shirt with the word Chic Magnet, and this, as mentioned earlier, is a reference to CM Punk's days as the Chic Magnet Punk. At this point, the anticipation reaches a fever pitch, and we are 2 days away from either the greatest moment in the history of our sport or a monumental letdown. And who better to talk about letdowns than the Universal Champion Roman Reigns, who in an interview with Ariel Helwani sold for CM Punk like he was just hit with the GTS.
When it comes down to it, CM Punk was not as good or as over as a John Cena. I'm a full-time performer.
The big dog!
Real mature.
And we are finally here, August 20th, the day CM Punk made his debut for All Elite Wrestling. The day would start with a picture from the Dark Knight Returns comic, then a picture of himself in street clothes in the random airport, and also a meme of Matthew McConaughey from the True Detective TV show. Tony Khan, the owner of AEW, was also at work trying to both reassure the fans while not really confirming Punk's arrival. Appearing on Busted Open Radio, Tony Khan would say,
the biggest surprise we've ever delivered. I think it's a very important show we're doing tonight, and I'm very excited about the buzz and all the momentum the company has right now.
The pop CM Punk received from the Chicago crowd was so loud that even the Guinness World of Records Twitter commented on the pop he received.
You guys really know how to make a kid feel like Britt Baker in Pittsburgh. Feel you, Chicago. That's what I've heard for 7 years. I heard you. For a lack of
the people go insane at the mere sight of a man sitting down, and as Conrad Thompson puts it, when sitting down gets you a pop, you know you're over.
August 13th, 2005 was my last match in Ring of Honor, and I famously came out with tears in my eyes. I now know why I was crying. What it boiled down to was love professional wrestling. And I knew where I was going. It wasn't going to be easy for a guy like me. August 13th, 2005, I left professional wrestling. August 20th, 2021, I'm back. Because there's a couple of scores to settle in that locker room. Because I want to work with that young talent, Darby Allin. You're good. There is nothing you could do that is more dangerous than wrestling CM Punk. I will see you, and I'll see Sting September 5th at All Out.
Man, the chills are running up down my spine.
Number one thing being, I want you to bring back the WWE ice cream bars. Grab yourself a free ice cream bar on me.
This is about to pick up.
Yes, sir.
What a pay-per-view this is going to be.
I'm fixing to take a bite. Oh, the thumb's a little bit, but it's great.
This is such good.
It is unknown what the future holds for CM Punk and All Elite Wrestling. Personally, I would like to see a feud between Colt Cabana and CM Punk, playing off their real-life animosity and their real lawsuit between the two former friends. A CM Punk feud with Sting, Kenny Omega, Jon Moxley would also be something to behold. Truly, the possibilities are endless. Thank you for watching this trip down memory lane. If I missed anything, please let me know in the comments and feel free to press that like button. And also subscribe for more future content just like this, or better. This has been fun, thank you for watching.